Political Insiders, here with our senior producer, Martin Hinton, who is so smart he can fill the seat of both Doug Schoen and Pat Caddell. Martin, good to have you as always.
Thank you very much.
All right, Hillary Clinton, the putative front-runner for the Democratic nomination in 2016 and to be the next president and the first female president of the United States, to put it mildly, is off to a rocky start with her book.
She sure is.
All right, and we have numbers which we can't put on the screen, but Wall Street Journal poll came out last week. NBC Wall Street Journal poll shows that she has 37% of people, only 37%, who say she's honest and trustworthy, or honest and straightforward. Not a great number for someone who's supposed to be the next president. But while her numbers deteriorated there, her favorability went down, her unfavorability went up, and the book is a bomb. It's already out of the top 10 at Amazon. It is not selling well, and she's not doing well in her interviews. Among Democrats, she's more popular than she's ever been. That's a disconnect.
Yeah. And now this morning they've rolled out the "she's not healthy." The old school political number one reason not to vote for someone for president: they're going to die of natural causes in office, right?
Well, that's the Ed Klein's new book called Blood Feud: How the Obamas and the Clintons Hate Each Other, and he has a source inside the Hillary camp that tells the story that we hadn't heard before about her falling down in the was it around Christmas 2011. Mm-hmm. No, 2012 into 13. When she's about to leave as Secretary of State, we were told she fell at home. This story is she fell in the 7th floor State Department office, was taken to the infirmary, then taken home. Bill gets there, moves her up to New York Presbyterian, and in the process of that, they discover she's got heart valve trouble and a thyroid problem, which is not terrible, and she's not as healthy as we were told. I mean, all of this is going to contribute. I mean, we're talking about Hillary, and it ain't great.
Listen, I think what's interesting in this I mean, you know, we always used to joke about the congressional election cycles never ending. Right? It's happened now with the presidential cycle. And the idea that she gets talked about now as a front runner and maybe the Democratic nominee means that people are attacking her as though she is.
Right.
And for me, that leaves a lot of quiet time for someone to organize themselves in the shadows and go around to some of these bundlers and say, listen, what we've been doing isn't working. We need to try a different approach with a different attitude outside the sort of two pillars of, you know, conventional political parties. And we're not talking radical one way or radical the other, but just something that's more American, akin to that concept and that idea of across-the-aisle politics, which, as Clinton showed in his second term, can be very, very effective. It's a compromise design.
It won't get you nominated, but it will get you elected.
Well, that's what you wonder. You know, we talked last night on the channel about how she's diminished popularity-wise across the nation among all voters, but within the Democratic Party, she's improved.
Right.
And that idea that, as we say in the political realm, you have to speak to a certain person to get through a primary, say, in the Republican Party, but that message needs to be muted for the general election to get those voters that, you know, aren't as concerned with social issues like birth control or whatever it might be. The idea that that's developing, because it does exist in the Democratic Party, is an interesting idea, that you might have to sort of radicalize your primary politics in order to get, maybe that's not the right word, but to make them more left as they are more right in the primary to get to the general election. And then all that baggage lingers with you as you try to get those voters in the middle that are essential to actually win an election.
She shouldn't have to play that game.
No.
With her strength, and I think she and Bill think she's the nominee. So they want to be down the middle right from the get-go to win the middle of the political spectrum. The problem is, every time she does that, she says stupid things. Like
she's not a great interview, is she?
No. As Doug has told us on the air and off, she has no political sense. She works hard, but she's not Bill. She doesn't have political understanding.
Does that hurt her being compared to him, you think? Like that she's got this charismatic, I mean, a guy who is, he really does, I mean, I've never met him,
he's
but
the best
people talk about him. He's like an effervescent
smart
kind of guy, and smart and witty and tells a great story.
I don't think she gets compared to him. I think I think that she's her own person for all the years of being famous.
Yeah.
But when you really look at her, because she's now being exposed in all these interviews, she can say whatever she wants. What she says is not good.
Yeah.
And to sit there and say, well, we're not really rich like the real rich, when they've made $200 million bucks, why are you even talking about your own wealth? Talk about the person watching and how you want to help them make more money.
I can stand some of that not real rich.
Yeah. I don't hear anything out of her about what she would do to change the country for the better. I never hear it. It's defensive, selfish, self-centered. That's what she talks about. I said this to you before. Ronald Reagan never talked about himself. Never talked about his own personal stuff. He knew, I have 3 minutes on TV. When you take all the fluff out, I'm going to connect with who's looking for my 3 minutes about what I'm going to do to make their life better. Because they care about themselves, not about me.
Is there an unwritten rule that you don't use the word I?
If you can.
Never say, it's never about you.
I was taught when you write never to use the word I.
Yeah.
And I think
that's why I mentioned, that idea of how you project yourself.
You can use it a little bit. You can say, yeah, I will do this to help that. You can do a little bit of I, but it's me that you don't want to use. What is all about for me? Why does John Q. Public care about me? They don't. And they want to know, what's the question pollsters ask? Does John candidate care about people like you? And she doesn't do it, and I don't think she's going to relate. And I think her start is bad. I mean, what has gone well in the first 2 weeks of the Hillary rollout? Nothing.
Nothing.
And I think what you alluded to, in the Democratic Party, there's other people sitting there saying, hey, we're going to go down the drain with her. Let us get a new candidate like we got Obama in 06 and 07.
Candidate of the future.
Candidate of the future. The Wall Street Journal poll on Meet the Press showed 48% of people think she's candidate of the past. But there'll be more in the future about Hillary with political insiders. For Martin Hinton, I'm John LeBoutillier. Watch us this Sunday night, 7:30, Fox News Channel. Thank you.